And part of that is also just seeing the consistency that this home program has produced. We're seeing faster and more lasting changes in his reflex integration journey. It's just like everything started to click, and we're seeing real meaningful progress in a much shorter time than we did before. My name is Renee Coetzee. I'm a pediatric kinesiologist, and I was first introduced to reflex integration in 2006 during my postgraduate studies. I've been using it since, even though I had a very basic understanding of it. I did realize that there is value to using it with the kids that I work with.
What was it like before using RITP? So specifically, we're talking about the RITP certification program. Tell me a little bit about how it was working. What challenges did you face?
Right. So to tell you a bit about before RITP, over the years, I kept looking at different courses I could do. I did have the exposure of someone close to me having a reflex integration assessment done and going through the whole program. And seeing the difference that it made in that person's life really was a turning point for me. And I was like, I really need to invest in this to support other children and families that I work for. So I started doing specific courses geared towards reflex integration at about 2018, which I really loved. But I always found that the activities that was given for integration was not fun. It was hard for kids to do. Sometimes it was boring, and sometimes it was really difficult to adapt the exercises for specific clients. So that was the struggle that I had with the work that I've done up to then.
When you were talking about the struggles, what was it about Kokeb's program specifically that you thought, oh, I need that?
So what drew me to Kokeb's program was I first started reading the books and I really loved what I saw. I also realized she had the course and I kept it on my wish list for quite a while. Then I met an OT who was taking the course and she spoke very highly of it. So I decided to take the chance and enroll, and it's really changed the way that I work and the way that I use reflex integration. I've got a deeper understanding of the movement patterns. It's given me a full toolkit of creative, child-friendly strategies that I can use and that really work.
Can you give me some specific information about some of the children that you worked with and how you used RITP?
So one story that stands out for me is a young boy that I've been working with for quite a while. His mom was incredibly consistent about bringing him to sessions every week, but the challenge was always the home program and getting the family to work at home. That all changed when I started using our ITP app with him. The moment we introduced the app with the video demonstrations, he was literally hooked. The visuals and the structure gave him the motivation he needed. And now he's the one reminding his mom that he needs to do his workout. And part of that is also just seeing the consistency that this home program has produced. We're seeing faster and more lasting changes in his reflex integration journey. It's just like everything started to click, and we're seeing real meaningful progress in a much shorter time than we did before.
Had you been seeing him prior, or did you just start seeing him when you started training with RITP?
So I saw him prior to RITP, so that was how I could see the difference that this specific program did, because we did do reflex integration with him prior, but once we started implementing RITP, we could see that faster changes in his reflexes.
Can you tell me how old he was?
I started working with him when he was 7 and he's 9 now.
How did the parents react to the changes that they saw in their son?
The parents were quite excited to see it, and I think that also motivated them to follow through with the home program. Another child that I work with was a boy who's 13 years old. He was very disengaged at school when I started working with him. I immediately introduced the RITP program with him. And within 3 months, his teachers started reporting big changes. He was showing interest. He was actively participating in class. He even had a pen and notebook ready to take notes during lessons. And it might sound small, but for this child, it was a major step forward. Seeing that kind of confidence and engagement come to life is exactly why I do this work.
What was he like before that in a classroom?
He was just disengaged. He was not focused. He was not interested, easily distracted by peers. So schoolwork was not important to him at all. And it obviously showed up in his grades.
How did you feel in terms of your confidence level after learning the tools and procedures from RITP?
As a kinesiologist, pediatric kinesiologist, I really value what I learned through the RITP. The details really helped me to understand the reflexes even better. It helped me expand my knowledge of activities I can use and ways that I can adjust activities for different clients. I really love reflex integration because we are working with a foundation of development. It's really contributed to my knowledge and just feeling confident in what I do with children.
My understanding is that a lot of times when you're working with clients, there's a lot of prep time. Did using the tools provided affect prep time at all?
So the RITP has given me or saved me some time for sure, because I did used to write up individualized programs for kids to take home. And it is so much easier to refer them to the app or to the book and say, do this specific exercise without me specifically have to rewrite the whole exercise.
I also understand there was a community that you had access to with other therapists. Did you find that helped with your learning?
So the community that I'm part of with RITP is really helpful. It's lovely to learn from others and glean from their knowledge. And I really enjoyed Kokeb's involvement and openness to always help and give advice. So I learned a lot from that. I also appreciated just the growing knowledge that was added to the program, that it wasn't just this is what you get and that's it, but it keeps on growing. And I appreciate that we are involved in that.
What would you say to any other therapist or service provider working with kids if they asked you, is it worth it taking the RITP certification? What would you say to them?
For other professionals that are interested in reflex integration, I could recommend the RITP program. It's very thorough. You don't just learn bits and pieces. You will walk away with a good understanding and knowledge of how to address reflexes.
So if you were to think back before you were using RITP to now, how long has it been that you've been using it?
Since September.
Okay. So quite a few months in, what would you say is the biggest difference for you as a therapist?
So the difference that I've seen in myself since using RITP is just the confidence that I have, the clear understanding that I have, the ability to identify even little things to help and improve kids with their development. So I would say those are the main points for me.
And if you were to summarize RITP in 3 words, what would they be?
Wow. I might need a minute. I would summarize the RITP in 3 words by saying it's thorough, it is very informative, and it's enlightening.